Want to dream like the Egyptians? Well, today we're going to talk about blue lotus flower and how you can utilize it for your lucid dreaming. Welcome to the channel, everyone. Here on Deep Mind Square, we talk all things altered states and magical practices. My name's Fola, and super glad to be back. I feel like it's been way too long since I've made any videos. Lots of things kind of transitioning in my life. So great to have you here. I'm going to share a bit about the blue lotus flower because the African dream herb video I did a few months back really seemed to have a lot of engagement, a lot of people interested in what are different ways to support dreaming, to really boost the ability to, gain like whatever energy benefits from the dream time, or even just to aid in lucid dreaming. So I hope this video will shed some light on another lovely herb that is legal and available you can utilize to deepen your dream states. So blue lotus flower, this Nymphaea Caerulea, as it was called, I guess its genus name, this plant that has been growing near fresh water for centuries is found oftentimes along the coast of Eastern Africa and going into the Middle East. The ancient Egyptians used this plant for many of their different rituals as a way to connect with the gods and to themselves. This plant is really seen as like a highly potent spiritual plant, and the fact that it opened up its lovely little petals in the morning with the sun rising, and it would close and go back to sleep at nighttime. This plant grows abundantly along the Nile River, and so even in journeys that I've done with folks, I love connecting with this plant because it's just so potent and it's really quite beautiful. I remember going to a local, it was a zoo actually, and I was sitting in one of their like butterfly areas, and I looked down just along the water, and they had the blue lotus flower there with its like lovely little lily pad and everything. Oh, it was so magnificent to see this like live, just its potent color, the vibrancy. So there's something really powerful that I hope this plant can share with you. I'm not going to go into all the chemistry about this plant, but what you need to know is that its compounds are quite similar to opioids. So it causes a bit of this kind of reduced or slowed down state, a lot of like pleasure. It was known and used for its aphrodisiac sort of properties by the Egyptians. And oftentimes the effects last from anywhere from like 4 to 6 hours. Again, its purpose was to induce sleep and also create a shift in like how the depth of sleep was, a lot of times used to promote lucid dreaming, which is a state of dreaming in which you become conscious as the dreamer in the dream time. So if this has ever happened for you, congratulations. It honestly doesn't happen a whole lot for me in my experience, but my dreaming kind of is a weird sort of experience, I would say. But it really can help us enter into a more vivid and deep dream state. And that's something that I found it helpful for. Of course, who doesn't want to have the aphrodisiac sort of properties and that like pleasure, good feeling? So definitely something to try, especially if you have like a partner, you both want to enter into that like kind of dreaming, co-dreaming space together. This is a really fun herb to try. Just some things to note about, side effects. Like personally, I haven't found a whole lot of issues with the blue lotus flower. Overall, it's been pretty calming. There have been times I have noticed like the palpitations of the heart, that sort of like increased heart rate. But I also want to note that at least those times there was like a mixing of other substances, whether it was cannabis or also the African dream herb, which happened one night, which was not my plan. So being mindful what that looks like, I really recall with that, there was a lot of like the sweating in the hands and so forth. And I had a bit of like a panic. I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I've like taken too much of something? I might go too deep into the dream, but it was completely fine. So you're going to have to listen to your body, what works for you. Another side effect might be nausea. Like personally, I haven't experienced that. Kind of curious how maybe some other plants or herbs might support you with reducing that if this is something that's going on for you. Like CBD oil might be a great one to like kind of throw into the mix. But yeah, take it gently, slowly, as with all things, and see kind of how it works. So there's a few different ways that you can prepare the blue lotus flower. You can purchase it through a variety of different like online herb providers or suppliers. It comes in like a dried flower usually. I think I've seen it in like a resin form as well, though I haven't tried that. I just usually get like a huge bag of the dried flower and utilize it in like a tea form, putting it in those like little like tea bags and soaking it. You could even put it in a strainer, let it sit like maybe about 2 tablespoons for 5 to 10 minutes, and add some lovely honey, whatever you feel like that you want to mix in. I find it has actually quite a nice taste to just drink plain, so it's really up to you. But obviously taking it orally, it tends to have more of like this body, like just chill sort of feeling. And it does last, I guess, and comes on a little slower. I find that to be the most calming way to do it. And I do that when I'm like, okay, I'm ready for bed. I just want to chill. I, maybe aren't really like wanting to work on anything in particular before bed and just like be present. And that really does kind of support that. The other option is to smoke it. And so I've taken it and rolled it in just like paper. You could put it in like a vape, I guess. I've never done that, but why not? Give it a try. My partner said that he's tried it in a like water bong, and that was one thing I would love to try, but have not yet done that. I think there's something about like mixing the smoke of this plant, which is very water-based, with water itself. So that would be something that would be really neat to try. In terms of effects, I would say smoking it makes it like have a very similar high to cannabis. Not so much like heady, which is how I can get with cannabis sometimes, but just like an elevated sense. Getting high. Like it just feels elevated. It feels more gentle. I would say I feel more present and like alert in a way. And yeah, the sensations of like pleasure and just like this like juicy feeling is definitely present. I would say that smoking it is kind of the go-to if it's like, okay, I'm gonna really want to get into like the dream time, because it's just something about it kind of gets in quicker, and then I can go and like lay down and see what happens. So of course you could always play around with this. You listen to your body, what your medical conditions are, whatever. All that like stuff I have to say is a disclaimer. But be mindful of what you're doing. As I had mentioned, the ancient Egyptians, I guess, used to mix this plant with alcohol, doing like sort of like an infusion. I've not actually done that myself. I would be curious, but I don't drink a whole lot. So it's like, there's different like ways, I guess, you could find out how long you'd want to leave it sitting with the alcohol, what alcohol to mix it with. I believe it would mostly be wine. And honestly, that's really the only thing that I would say would be the ideal to do that. At least in my sense, I don't really want to drink like hard liquor like that. But I could see how having it in like combination with wine might be like super like heart opening and helping to like connect with others in terms of the dream state. Whatever happens with that happens. So what are some of the things I've noticed with this plant? I definitely would say the biggest thing for myself is that it supports with like a more vivid dream time. It's like the dreams seem to go deeper, and I notice that as it gets closer to like morning time, that's when my dreams get more intense, which is usually the case, but there's just something about this like clarity that comes when using the blue lotus. So there is this enhancement that occurs with the plant. In terms of lucid dreaming, I think there maybe was like one time that I can actually vividly say, oh yeah, like I became aware in the dream, and it's most likely because of the plant. It was not a full-blown lucid dream, in my opinion. It was just more like, oh, like I am aware in this dream, and now I can like move myself, and that happened, and then that was pretty much it. So like that was really not that exciting, but there was like this progression that occurred. I definitely would say check out the other video about African dream seed. I thought that was like way more potent to like really pull healing or benefits, information that can be like really integrated. That plant really seems to help with that. Blue Lotus to me is just this place of like, let's connect to like this lovely heart space this sort of grounded yet still like alert sort of aspect of the self, and ultimately connect to this powerful plant that the Egyptians used, which if you have a connection to like ancient Egypt, then it like kind of throws you back to that time. And I would say that around the time I started using this plant, that's when like a lot of my like connection to Egypt started to open up again, with like Thoth coming in, Sekhmet, and yeah, that maybe could be why a lot of that like relationship building started to happen. But prior to that, it had been some time since I've really like dived into any of the things I used to like about Egypt, and wanting to, I guess, learn more about myself. So definitely this blue lotus flower is a way to go. Check out whatever supplier might be near you. I can't really say I have one in like mind to share here. I think it depends whereabouts you live in the country or in the world. But give it a shot. You could even just meditate with the plant, which I think is also, because again, it's just like such a beautiful plant. Like, I mean, look at it. Look at its picture. And see what comes up for you. Set your intention before you go to bed. See what it can share with you, and be open to receiving whatever that guidance is. So feel free to let us know in the comments, have you tried blue lotus flower, and what has it done for you in terms of enhancing dreaming or deepening your spiritual or magical practice? And I look forward to seeing you all in another video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, the like, the notification bell, so that you're updated on any other video releases. And I will see you all very soon. Bye.